Greetings, everyone. Bulawayo is my home city. Though I grew up in the village, I'm a village boy growing up in the mountains, but Bulawayo is my home city. I was born at Impilo Hospital. We live about 50 kilometers or so out of the city. So let us look into the 8 facts about Bulawayo, the city of kings and the queens, of course. First thing, the first cow on Rhodesian soil. In 1902, Charles Dooley, who had a cycle agency in Bulawayo, uh, imported a French 6.5 horsepower Gladiator, the first car to arrive on Rhodesian soil into Bulawayo. So the first car to arrive in Rhodesia, in what is now Zimbabwe, arrived in Bulawayo in 1902. It was a French vehicle. You also know the vehicle is from France that we're using as a public transport, for our public transport. Doubtless many Rhodesians had seen motor cars in their travels elsewhere, but the arrival of the Gladiator caused something of a stir in Bulawayo. There's no record of Mr. Dooley having to copy the English practice of having men walking in front of his machine with a red flag, but the wonder and appreciation which the motor car caused are nevertheless quite clear. Assigned to report on the wonderful machine, a Bulawayo journalist recorded in obvious awe that the chain-driven cylinder contraption was powered by a spirit called petrol. So petrol was called, this journalist thought it was a spirit. It was steered, he added, by a wheel which enabled the driver to change direction at any speed. Second point about the Bulawayo, I said 8 facts about Bulawayo. City status. Bulawayo was first declared a town on June 1, 1894, 1 year after what is now known as the Matabele War, of 1893. It was then given municipality status on 27 October 1897 and they had 6 councillors at the time. Now we have more councillors. It would take the town a full 50 years to be accorded a seat on 4th of November 1943. Third point or third fact about Bulawayo, my hometown, first newspaper. Bulawayo's first newspaper was the Chronicle, which was launched as a twice-weekly newspaper in October 1894, and by the following year it had its first advertisements which covered most of the professions and services in the area. By May 8, 1895, the Chronicle moved to a daily newspaper of which it is still today. The fourth fact, design of streets. This design of the streets of Bulawayo are rather peculiar, and this was for one fundamental reason: oxen carts turning. The city had wide streets that were broad enough to allow a spin of oxen to turn without difficulty, a provision which greatly assists the city's traffic even current times. Our roads in Bulawayo are wide. Fact number 5, Head and Sly. In 1894, W.H. Henson and J.W. Sly founded one of the very first films to grace the face of Bulawayo, Head and Sly. If you are from Bulawayo, you are familiar with this. In its early days, they provided a tea room and a ladies' restroom as a facility for the country customers who found the slow journey into Bulawayo Parks by ox wagon or cab cart fatiguing. It was once a departmental store, but in more recent years has been turned into a glorified flea market with all 3 floors have small traders and stalls. We are now, like I said in the other video, that we are now informal economy. Point 6, that's the fact number 6. First bank was in a tent. The first bank to be opened in Bulawayo was by the Standard Bank of South Africa, now known as Stanbic in Zimbabwe, which I think has moved, but I'll double check my facts, under a bell tent on 4 May 1894. This was done at the time that 400 gold seekers had flocked to Bulawayo and been awarded licenses to prospect for gold. uh, for gold, a total of 11,000 claims being registered. By September of that year, they moved into their own premises, a single-story building with a veranda and a hitching post in front. Number 7, railway line. As part of Sir John Ross' mission to link Cape to Cairo, the building of a railway line from Mafeking in South Africa to Bulawayo was pivotal for his initiative, arriving in November 1897, making Bulawayo the key point in the railway system which was to develop in South Central Africa as far as Congo. His favorable geographical position led to its development as a major commercial and industrial center. This led to a clearinghouse for the whole of Central Africa being established in Bulawayo. Bulawayo once boasted of having the longest railway platform in the world. The last fact, number 8, home to Mazowe. In 1927, a gentleman named Arthur Strungers came to then Rhodesia looking for farming opportunities. 3 years later, he started a small soft drink factory in Bulawayo, manufacturing carbonated drinks, but he realized there was no gap in the market for a real fruit juice to be produced locally, utilizing oranges grown from the Mazoe Valley. Lacking a name for his new cordial, his wife suggested Mazoe, and thus a national treasure was born at Bulawayo. Up to now, I buy my Mazoe in Johannesburg. It is brought from Zimbabwe. I still have it in my house, so I have to buy another one, another 2 liter by this weekend. What do you know about Bulawayo? What are your experiences? What do you remember by the City of Kings? Did you grow up in Bulawayo? Did you visit Bulawayo? What are the fascinating things about Bulawayo? Do you live in Bulawayo? Please share your views in the comment section. Please like this video, circulate as we talk about Bulawayo, my hometown. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Otherwise, have a great week ahead. Goodbye.